Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. Today will be our last class of the series. And we have, and arguably the most important part of the discussion will occur today. Some of the most celebrated verses of Bhagavad Gita. So let us begin. We will start with Maṅgalācaraṇa prayers. I will share my screen. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutah Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. All right, we will begin from verse number 64. So there are no slides, no anything. We will just discuss. All of you must have Bhagavad Gita with you. All right. So please keep it in front. We will be discussing a lot of important words from Bhagavad Gita, each verse, and we will draw out many observations and a lot of understanding from all these words of the Bhagavad Gita. So last time we started with the discussion, the final part of the discussion of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, who is completing or concluding the topic of Bhagavad Gita. He starts by, okay, I will not do a review. We have a lot of matter to cover. So he basically goes into the topic of Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And he explains how one should surrender the famous 5 verses or 2.5 plus 2.5 verses we discussed, that how doing all activities as an offering to Krishna makes us successful. Krishna provides his mercy and we do everything as a service to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. So that is the first 2.5 verses. And if we don't do that and we do it according to our own choices, then we will be lost. Then Śrī Kṛṣṇa said that we should surrender to Bhagavan, to Paramatma within the heart. And that is where he stopped. Finally, he gives a choice to Arjuna that yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Now I have told you everything, guhya guhyataram, which gives a hint that something more is coming, because guhyatama is left over. And this is the most important instruction to Arjuna. So it will not stop at good, better. There is best coming. So, but he says, guhyat guhyataram maya vishmrityatad asheshena. Think about it as long as you want. Asheshena. Don't, no rush. Think about it carefully and then do what you want. Yathechhasi tatha kuru. So that is where we left last time. Now, it seems that Śrī Kṛṣṇa has given a choice to Arjuna to take some time and make a choice whether he wants to fight or not. But Śrī Kṛṣṇa is not satisfied yet. Again, he thinks that I really have to help Arjuna make the choice. So it's like the teacher giving very nice teachings to the student, then gives the question paper, the exam, to the student and says, wish you all the best. Do as best as you can in the exam. But then the heart of the teacher melts. He really wants the student to succeed. So he tells, by the way, here is the right answer. So he is going to tell what is the choice that Arjun should make. But as we will see later, Śrī Kṛṣṇa again asks in the 72nd verse, I believe. Yes, in the 72nd verse, that what have you decided? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And then in 73rd verse, Arjuna gives the response, what he has decided. And that is the ending of Bhagavad Gita. 74 to 78 are statements by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. So that is where Bhagavad Gita ends. So Arjuna has been given a choice in the 63rd verse. This is very important. But again, Śrī Kṛṣṇa is out of his love, and it is evident from the 64th verse that out of his love, he is going to guide Arjuna to make the right choice. So we are going to study verse number 64. Okay. Audio is clear on Zoom? Okay, great. Thanks. 64. These are all very celebrated, very beautiful verses. Please pay very careful attention. You will gain a lot of benefit if you are sitting with your book and following each verse. Sarvaguhyatam bhuyaha, sarvaguhyatam bhuyaha, shrinu me paramam vachaha, ishtosi me dridhamiti, tato vakshyami te hitam. So now comes guhyatama. So guhya, guhyatara, guhyatama. Good, better, best. So sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. That again I am going to tell you. So this is again something not new. Okay, this is no surprise, but it is a repetition for emphasis and for clarity that what is the best, what is the most confidential. Sarva guhyatamam. This has already been also told many times that I am telling you the most confidential knowledge. Guhyatamam also was told at the end of chapter 15 and at other places as well. And you can see here, guhyatamam would have been enough. Sarva guhyatamam means like the very topmost. Topmost itself is exclusive to topmost one. Very topmost, or topmost among all the topmosts. You can see the emphasis of sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha. Again, I'm telling. Then again he says, no need to say shrinu me paramam vachaha. Obviously, the sarva guhyatamam means to listen carefully. But again, he's just trying to tell, Bhagwan is through Arjuna, Bhagwan is telling us what is the most important thing. Don't miss it. It's not about that I'm telling you the most important instruction. It is about, Ram, I'm going to turn off your video. Okay, thanks. It is about emphasis that don't take this lightly. And this point is going to come again and again. This is an important point which I want to spend little time on. So, all 4 lines are full of trying to convince Arjuna, trying to get his attention, point one, and trying to get his faith or trying to convince him. So please listen carefully. I'm telling you something really, really important. Please listen very, very, very carefully. I mean, this is Śrī Kṛṣṇa's words where he is saying this, I don't know how else it could be said so emphatically. And then he says, Ishto asi me dridhamiti. Ishto asi, you are my friend, not just friend, dridha friend, gehra dost, like a deep friend, if I were to translate literally, or a very, very close, very dear friend. You are my very dear friend. So it's like, it's not like some people go and tell others, you know what, I'll tell you something confidential. They tell. Then you hear from 10 other people, they also were told the same confidential thing. So it was not just confidential, it was lip service. So that is not the kind here. Śrī Kṛṣṇa is trying to say that because you are my very dear friend, and Śrī Kṛṣṇa does not have too many dear friends. He has too many enemies, but very few dear friends. And also finally, he's tato vakshyami te hitam. Finally, it is also for your benefit. I want your benefit. I am your friend. Please listen. This is all the kind of things we tell somebody to convince them. Now, where does convincing come? Mataji, Shalu Mataji, I'll pick on you. If I say to you, I will give you $10,000, please take it. Will I need a lot of convincing for you to say yes?
No.
No. But if I ask you, can you give me $10,000? Will I take a lot of convincing for you to do that?
A little.
Yeah. Or maybe if I up the number 100,000, then maybe more or whatever.
But first I have to know whether I can afford it or not.
So the point is, there is some convincing going on because Krishna is going to ask for something. He is going to ask for something which is very dear to us or which is very precious, which is very hard to give. Okay. And that is why Krishna is making this very strong argument that please listen carefully. I am your friend. And this is not something that Krishna is going to ask us. He's only going to give us. I will explain later, but please try to get into this mood. How Krishna is setting the stage, that it is not, if he just has to give $10,000 in this example, or if he just has to say, okay, he'll press a button and you win the war. Or he could have just pressed a button, changed Duryodhan's heart, he gives 5 villages or half the kingdom or whatever, everything would have been fine. But that did not happen. That's not the case. So there is something else that is going on, and Śrī Kṛṣṇa will describe that in the next 2 verses. So please try to get into the mood that Krishna is trying to lay the foundation, that be very serious about what I am going to say. It's very confidential. It's extremely important. I will not tell this to anybody except my very dear friend, and it is of your topmost benefit. What else can he say? So that is the point. Please get into the mood of this verse. Now he says something. So this is the point where Śrī Kṛṣṇa is going to ask for something in the first line. Okay. So 4 things he is going to ask. First, man mana bhava mad bhakto. So the 4 things are man mana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji, mam namaskuru. So these are the 4 things. We'll cover those one by one. Mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane prayosi me. So here Śrī Kṛṣṇa is going to say that here is what I want from you. I'll take questions a little later. You can keep your hand raised, okay? Or you can raise it later, but I don't want to break the chain of thought here. Please remember your questions. Man, manaha means always your man, your mind, heart, attention, absorption, whatever that is, man. keep it always absorbed in me. Always keep it. Now, these 4 lines are described, or these 4 things are described in multiple ways. There is no one single way to understand Bhagavad Gita. There are multiple ways, different acharyas, different devotees, different commentators, different speakers give a slightly different way. They are all correct. There is no such thing as one is correct and others are wrong. Okay, but the line of thought being taken here by Srila Prabhupada. So some will explain, be fully absorbed. That's also correct. Be fully absorbed in me. If you cannot do that, then just be my, like a ladder. Okay, then just be my devotee. If you cannot, like in the true sense, if you cannot, at least do my worship, madhyaji. Are Baba, if you cannot even do that, just do namaskar, simple. That is also correct understanding. But another understanding is do all of these, which means that it's not about just do namaskar, but don't think of me as a like a 4th level, level 4, 4th class, 3rd class, not like that. The line of thought that Srila Prabhupada has taken is that do all of these, and the highest and the most difficult being to give our attention, to give our absorption, to give our full mental bandwidth to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Man manaha. That mat manaha. Mana mat. Tumhara man mera hai. Your mind is mine. What else do we have other than our mind? That is the most precious thing we have, or our attention or our absorption. What we think, what we meditate on is the most, closest to us. All the money can be taken, health can be taken, everything can be taken. Our absorption is something that is still ours. Krishna is asking for that. And in what mood? Not like Kamsa, not like Shishupal. They were both fully absorbed. They were full madmanaha. Fully madmanaha they were. And that is a whole different topic. That is also very good. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is glorified so much. The absorption of Kamsa and the absorption of Shishupal, but that is not favorable. So it is not bhakti. It is not anukulyena Śrī Kṛṣṇa anushīlanam. It is pratikula. So by being my devotee, you give me your absorption in a favorable way as a devotee. Bhava mad bhakta. Madhyaji, and not just mind. If possible, mind can be given even in the last moment of life. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajyatyante kalevaram. Or the other one is, kya hai? Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So smaran is always possible. And if possible, with your hands and words, madhyaji, do my worship. So it's not just about mind, but your external engagement, external activities, and mam namaskuru. So madhyaji means with few things. You may require some austerity to set it up, to assemble all the things, to show me your love. If you have to cook bhoga for Bhagwan, today you may not feel hungry. Maybe you are sick. And you say, I don't want to eat anything. Just yesterday, I cooked some khichdi. I will eat basi. Basi ko kya bolte hain? Stale. Huh? Khichdi I will eat. But no, if you have Bhagwan, you will at least get up and offer some nuts, fruits, water. So that one. And Mam Namaskuru. That always, this is something you don't need anything else to do. It is an external activity, but it can always be done as long as your hands are working or your head is working. Bow down to me, Mam Namaskuru. So always, so the first 2 are internal, and the next 2, Bhav Madhyaji and Mam Namaskuru, are external. But all of these one should do as much as possible with 100% absorption. So that is what is being said here. And Mam evaishyasi, you will come to me. Mam evaishyasi. Okay. Now comes a very nice part in the rest of this verse. Satyam te. I am telling the truth. What is that a statement of? What is it conveying, Shalu Mataji? Satyam te, main sach bol raha hu.
The truth.
No, but it is an act of convincing.
Yeah, with more emphasis on it.
Again, Śrī Kṛṣṇa is saying, I'm trying, or I'm telling the truth. Please believe me. So there is an act, or there is a aspect of convincing Arjuna or the hearer of Bhagavad Gita, trying to convince that please do these 4 things. And there is a benefit, which is mam evaishyasi. You will come to me by doing this. And not only that, Krishna says, pratijane means I promise you will come to me. I promise. I'm not lying. I promise. So double, 2 times, I'm not lying and I promise. Again, 2 times he is trying to make an argument that please do this. I'm not, taking you for a ride. I'm telling the truth. Because priyo asi me, you are very dear to me. Why would I lie to you? Why would I trick you? You are dear to me. So I want your benefit. So he is saying this as an act of, or from the aspect of trying to convince Arjuna. So we will come to that aspect. So first, the point, so I want to read Srila Prabhupada's purport here, the first paragraph, which is very sweet. Not just sweet. I mean, sweet is one way to say it, but it's very important. And he is bringing out this part that manaha, that our mind should be completely absorbed in Krishna. This is 100%, this is pure Krishna consciousness or Shuddha Bhakti. This is Shuddha Bhakti, manaha. And Śrī Kṛṣṇa is asking for nothing less. Okay, so this is not about, 2 hours, 4 hours bhakti, 16 rounds done, or 1 hour, 2 hour reading Bhagavatam done, and then going about doing your own things. This is about, for us, I am saying, this is constantly having Krishna in our mind and arranging our life around Krishna. Putting Krishna first and then seeing what is favorable. Can I do these activities where I will be reminded of, or where I will feel happy about serving Krishna when I do those activities? And anything that doesn't fit that criteria, you reject. So this is complete absorption in bhakti. Okay. So this is very, very, very high standard of bhakti. And that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying in the first paragraph of the purport. I will read that purport. The most confidential part of knowledge, maybe I can share the screen at this point and show you also, so we can read it together. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, 65, first paragraph. So we will be reading this portion. The most confidential part is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna. So that is the point. Pure devotee, not anything less, not 99%, 100%. And always means always, nothing less. Okay. Think of him and act for him. So think and act, both aspects are there. Man manaha bhavamad bhakta is the internal and external is the act. One should not become an official meditator. So no other path of yoga, dhyana yoga, etc. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. Life has to be molded around Krishna, not try to fit Krishna somehow in our present life. It is about rebalancing, remodifying our life to revolve around Krishna. It's a big deal. It may mean giving up your job. It may mean giving up your business. It may mean whatever doesn't remind you of Krishna all the time, to change that situation and make yourself always remind of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. And no funny, artificial stretching of arguments. Like I'm writing software code and somehow that is reminding me of Krishna. Either you have to be a very, very, very big devotee or a very surrendered devotee to do that. Otherwise, I without some gymnastics, it is hard to stretch that. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours, what about sleeping hours? 24, even the dreams should be about Krishna. 24 hours, he cannot but think of Krishna. Every line Srila Prabhupada is not leaving any scope here in explaining what is the meaning of mat manaha. And the Lord's promise, now he goes to the next part. So there is no ladder here, there is no nothing. Okay, if you cannot do this, then do this. That may be one way of explaining, but really the meaning of Śrī Kṛṣṇa and our Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, is that it is the topmost and nothing less. And that is why it is sarva guhyatamam. And shrunume paramam vachaha. This is not some 98% statement. This is 100% statement. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. So that is Mam Evaishyasi. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Arjuna. Krishna will not say this to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. He is only saying it to Priyosime, Priyo Asime, to only his dearmost devotee. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. Okay. So that's the paragraph. So the point is that it is this level of bhakti is not possible to be done by those who are not in complete surrender of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. So we can, and we are all on the path. Hopefully I will get there one day, what this verse is saying. But this is the level of bhakti that will lead us to Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Mam Evaishyasi. And what is stopping us? What is stopping us is our doubts. We do not have, if Śrī Kṛṣṇa were to just open the gates of Vaikuntha right now in front, we will easily walk in. But it requires that conviction to leave everything else and to completely, and that is going to be the next sort of segue into the next verse, which is really about leaving everything. Parityajya, sarva dharman parityajya. So leaving everything behind and simply going with Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Just holding his hand and going with him and leaving our whole world behind completely. And that's a lot. Now this whole section on Brahman patnīs few months back, that is the level which is being discussed here. It just shakes my heart what they left behind. Their husbands, fathers, and sons. For a woman, there are only 3 levels: fathers, husbands, and sons. They are the 3 generations which anybody is connected with. The upper generation, peer generation, and lower generation. All of them said, if you go, don't come back. We will close the door behind you. So basically, they closed all back doors and still they went. They just went with full understanding that there is no coming back. That is the great, and even the gopis and everyone, the topmost devotees. So this verse is, and the way Srila Prabhupada as our Acharya and the commentator of Bhagavad Gita as it is, has explained, this verse is the topmost bhakti for towards Śrī Kṛṣṇa. And it is not easy. Brahman patnīs really needed that, not needed, they had it, but we would need that guts to leave everything behind. And that I don't have at all. It just doesn't exist. So I can only hope that one day it will come. But that is what the learning from this verse of Bhagavad Gita is. Okay? So please try to understand this. And what it means is that 100% dependence on Krishna. 100% that I am catching his hand and going. I am not doing anything wrong. I am not going to get the short end of the bargain. This is in my best interest. Everything that I have, I am okay to leave behind if I simply hold Krishna's hand and move forward with him, behind him. It requires tremendous conviction in the heart. And that is why Krishna is having to emphasize so much. I'm telling the truth. I'm not going to trick you. I'm your friend. You are my friend. Please believe me. Just hold my hand and follow behind me. All right? So that is the case. I mean, again, all these movie scenes come in my mind where sometimes the girl elopes with the boyfriend, and the father, all these, not Julius Caesar, what's that? Romeo and Juliet, and whatever, things where, it requires, those are smaller things, but just to leave everything that you have in your life behind and hold Krishna's hand and just move forward. I don't have that conviction at all. I keep looking how much money I have. Will I be able to, pay the whatever, my expenses, mortgage, or, I keep looking at that, all these things. If I don't have a job tomorrow, where will, my health insurance come from? And all these things keep going in my mind. And that is so against or so opposed to pure Krishna consciousness. And I'll read something else to this effect in the next verse. So this verse is supremely deep, and you need to understand it in that way. So the emphasis is 100% dependence on Krishna. Krishna is leading you in a particular direction. You have to 100% depend. Now, he's leading you away. All doors closed behind. Okay? All doors closed behind. And that is the perfect segue into verse number 66. Now, there is more I wanted to say, but it will disturb our mood here, which is the contrast between this verse and 9.34, where the first line is same. Even the first word of the second line is also same, ma me vaishyasi. But I will cover that later if there is time. Okay. So the difference between 934 and 1865. And we can bring that out, but that's not in the current flow. So I will skip that. Now, again, I'm thinking today might not be the last class. Maybe next class might be last. We will see. Then 66. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami ma shuchaha. So again, now he says, really what it means is you have to give up all that you have accumulated. Sarva dharman parityajya. What we have accumulated in our life are various shelters. They are called dharma, whose shelter we take. Whatever we take shelter of is our dharma. And he's saying, give it up. Whatever shelters. Dharma is the shelter. Somebody may take shelter of actual dharma. That if I act dharmically according to the laws of dharma, I will be successful. So one is taking shelter, or one has faith in the truth of dharma. Bhagavan is saying, give up all such things which you consider dharma. It could be, dharma as such, which means mode of goodness. I'm a truthful person. I'm a kind person. Like, I have spread kindness in the universe. When I need kindness, the kindness will come back to me. That is a dharma. You are believing on the dharma of the universe to give back, to get back what you have given. So these are all dharmas. So give up everything. And then, of course, material dharmas, our family. Everybody invests in their family, gives love to their family, to the wife, children, and everybody, brothers, sisters, so that it's not like when I need, I will get. It's not that kind of need based, but it's just that even if I don't need, I will get. That yearning for love, material love, recognition from people you are close with, that emotional support, that love you expect. Even a rich father who can afford all kind of things expects love from his own child, because he has, and that's why he gives. It's not like the child will pay for the needs of the father. So it's not about the money, it's just about the connection, the bond. So all those are also shelters. And like the Brahman patnis, how they just left, they truly did sarva dharman parityajya, and just walked away out of the house with no hope of ever returning back. It was a one-way journey for them. So maam ekam sharanam vraja, just take my shelter. It's a lot to ask for. And that is why Krishna is saying, Ma shuchaha, don't worry. Do not worry. Do not fear. Why again an emphasis on, or again a statement of convincing? Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Leave everything. So we should not be in this. The topmost bhakti is Ananya Bhakti. We have discussed it so many times. Śrī Kṛṣṇa has described it so many times. It is Ananya Bhakti. And Ananya Bhakti means completely and exclusively on Krishna, not being in these two boats. I will be a bhakta, plus I will have my own safety net. Both. So both, that's called keeping your feet in two boats. Do pair mein, sorry, kya? Do nao mein pair. You're sailing on a river and you cannot keep your feet in two boats. You'll immediately fall. So you have to keep both your feet in one boat. And Śrī Kṛṣṇa is saying, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksheshyami. I will, if you take my shelter, I will relieve you, or I will just write off, complete write off all your pap. And pap here doesn't just mean sinful, as in the bad karma. Even the good karma is included here. So all your karmic reactions, I will just remove, which means you will be liberated. You will come to me. Ma mevashyasi was said in the previous verse, which means one gets to, like Śrīla Prabhupāda has written here, and where one will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face, which means in the spiritual world. Obviously, all the karmic reaction is taken away at that point. So here, the point to note is, so the gravity of the statement is to just give up all material shelters and completely, like, be helplessly dependent on Krishna. You have to be ready for the fact that even if Krishna was lying, you are okay with it. You are just walking into an abyss, into a, let's say, I'm just dramatizing it, into a dark, dark jungle, simply depending that Krishna will protect me. It may be as fearful, as scary as that, and it is. We have spent our lives building these shelters called family. Tomorrow, if I get hurt, my wife will comfort me. If I lose my job, my children will come and say, Papa, don't worry, we are here, we will manage somehow, we will downsize, just those, and we will, live within our means. Just those words mean a lot. Give comfort, giving up those comforts, all those comforts, giving up, and simply depending on Krishna only. That is the meaning here that Śrī Kṛṣṇa is saying. So it is not one should not try to trivialize the gravity of Śrī Kṛṣṇa's instruction here. Okay. So, and the very important last point on this verse that I want to say, and then I will read a portion of Srila Prabhupada's purport, is that this, what Śrī Kṛṣṇa is asking for, is not something that can be scientifically convinced about. We cannot, there is no way to scientifically convince us. All right. It is simply and only based on faith and trust on Krishna. Only. And the examples are so rare who have done this, that we almost don't believe those examples or see faults in them, or say, oh, even he had this little suffering, or this happened, or like Pandavas, they also suffered. And Srila Prabhupada, he also suffered heart attacks. He was robbed. I mean, he did have tough years in his life. So, okay, and he got lucky, maybe, yeah, once in a while people do get lucky, and then he became famous. But I may not become famous. So all these things come in our mind. So that is why so much conviction is needed. Ultimately, it is a matter of the heart. That's what it is. There is nothing that can scientifically convince us. It's not like a drug where you give the drug to 100 people and they all get cured. Now it is scientifically proven that this drug cures this disease. That's called science. So here it is, and the examples are so rare. Drug, you can just give it in the mouth of 100 people who have the disease and they will get cured. Here, you do not have such 100 people. The examples are of such pure devotees are so few around us in our contemporary life. That's why we have to depend on scriptures like Bhagavatam. Of course, that is full of such devotees. Full. Every chapter of Bhagavatam is about a devotee. But then we say it is mythology. How do we know if Ambrish Maharaj existed? Maybe it's just a story. I can ask ChatGPT and he will give me a nice story about a new, fairy tale devotee. So how do we know the difference between real devotee that was historical and some fictional? So it all comes down to ultimately to faith. And that is why Śrī Kṛṣṇa is making repeatedly in 3 verses, he's making these statements that ishto me dridham iti tato vakshyami te hitam. I'm saying this for your benefit. Shrunu me paramam vacha, listen carefully. And then he is saying, satyam te pratijane, I promise, I'm telling the truth, I'm not lying. And then ma shuchaha, don't worry, don't fear, just come to me. Maam ekam sharanam vraja. All right. So I hope I have conveyed the essence, or not the essence, but the depth of these things. And you just have to take it on. And that's why many people don't. They don't have including myself, I don't have that guts or the courage to take it on. And that is why bhakti is so rare to finally be successful in. So rare, it's sudurlabha. And the way to get it is by association of a pure devotee. That is the most effective way to get this level of bhakti. Or as again in the Brahmana Patnī chapter we were reading other day, I will share my screen, how one can develop that much, conviction. We have seen two verses today, Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru and sarvadharman parityajya. That is not going to cut it. It is not going to cut it. What will cut it? Let me show you. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. Again, Brahman Patni chapter is so nice. It has so many learnings. Which verse number was that? Dirgha. See? So, in the 20th verse, kindly mute yourself, okay? Please. So, Nishidhyamanah patibhir, bhratribhir, bandhubhir stutai. So, it is telling the four category of people that they were being stopped. Nishidhyamanah, that they were being stopped by who? Pati. Pati means husband. Bhratri means their brothers. Bandhu means friends and relatives. And Sutaihi, by their sons. The Brahman Patnis were being stopped. Bhagavati uttamah shloke dirgha shruta dhritashayaha. But they became so attached, dhrita ashayaha, that they acquired this deep attachment to Śrī Kṛṣṇa by how? Bhagavati uttamah shloke dirgha shruta. Bhagavati uttamah shloka is Śrī Kṛṣṇa. About Śrī Kṛṣṇa, what did they do? Dirgha shruta. For a long time, they kept hearing about Śrī Kṛṣṇa. That is the secret to this level, getting to this level of success in our devotional or spiritual life. Dirgha shruta, for a long time. The translation is where is that? Cultivated by extensive hearing of his transcendental qualities, one out. Extensive hearing. There is another verse that I want to show you from our favorite Ajamil chapter, Canto 6, Chapter 2, second last verse. Usually I point to the last verse, but I think this is the second last verse. No, not second last. So, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, even though in the scriptures it is said, even one name and even once, all those things, okay? But there are also verses, and there are more number of verses which tell the other thing, that one must do it for a long time. And it is right here in the Bhagavatam. Even though the same chapter of Bhagavatam says, Sanketyam parihasyam va, stobham helanam eva va, vaikuntha nama grihanam, ashesha agham viduhu, or something like that, 14th verse. So that is giving us like that, you can take the name of Bhagwan in any way, but here this says that Tirtha pada anukirtanat. Anukirtanat means that constantly chanting the name of Krishna. Constantly. Anukirtan. Anukirtan means, word means continuous, unbroken, for a long time again. Okay. So that there is the sort of the time aspect to it, steadiness. We say S Bhakti. This is the third S, steady for a long time. Okay. So that can make us reach to that level of sarva dharman parityajya. Okay. Now I want to read a portion of the purport by Śrīla Prabhupāda. So again, I have to share the screen. And this is beautiful verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas 66. In the purport, we have, what does Sharana mean? Mam ekam sharanam vraja. So I will explain this verse in little bit of detail, and an important point I want to drill on, a very important point. The important point I want to drill on, please listen very carefully, is 100% dependence on Krishna. Please write it down like a sutra if you want. And also you can add the word helpless. And you will see that in the purport here. And that is what karpanye means. So I will focus on all these words. So you must have heard this verse few times or many times, some of you. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam rakshishyati iti vishwaso goptritve varnam tatha ātma-nivedanam karpanye shadvidha sharanagatihi. So Shri Sanatan Goswami in his Hari Bhakti Vilas is describing what is the meaning of taking shelter of Krishna. So first two are more straightforward to understand. Anukulyasya sankalpa, doing things which are not just doing, even in your mind, thinking about, everything is favorable to Krishna, not like Kamsa or Shishupal. Okay, even they were thinking of Krishna all the time, but it was not favorable. It was not anukul. So this is anukulyasya sankalpa, same thing as Śrī Kṛṣṇa anushilanam. Okay, bhakti ruttama. Then pratikulyasya varjanam, it is the opposite of that. So if you are doing anukulyasya sankalpa, parallelly you cannot do bad things also. You must give them up. So pratikulyasya varjanam. Now the next four terms are almost very similar. It is always, you sit in any class, they will seem, now a very expert person who has understood can explain the fine differences between them. Rakshishyati iti vish. So but they are very similar. So please pay attention. Rakshishyati iti vishwaso, कि भगवान सदा हमारी रक्षा करेंगे. रक्षिष्यति iti vishwaso, इस बात का विश्वास होना. Having that complete confidence that Bhagavan will protect us. So imagine this situation where you have left everything behind. Everything you have left behind, you have held Krishna's finger and walking into the abyss. Just walking like Vasudevji. He walked into the raging Yamuna. Can you imagine? Huh? Can you imagine walking into a deep river? Try it out in Portland. Walk for 5 steps into Willamette. You will be afraid of slipping and just drowning. You don't know what may happen, and suddenly, you might be dead. And he just entered just like that. No problem. And when he was up to his neck, when Yamunaji touched the feet of Śrī Kṛṣṇa, then the Yamunaji parted and gave way. But Vasudevji had almost died, materially speaking. But he was Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. That you are walking into the abyss. Of course, he had just had darshan of Lord Narayan himself in the jail. So he had nothing to fear. But the scene to imagine is you are holding Krishna's finger and walking into the abyss, and knowing that, some ghost may jump from the left, some tiger may jump from the right, whatever may happen, Krishna will protect me in all circumstances. That is Rakshishyati iti vishwaso. So this is usually explained as, when danger comes, Krishna will protect. Name bhaktah pranashyati. Okay. Then the next line is Goptritve Varanam Tatha, that he will provide for me. So this is about providing for. There is no danger, but he will provide. I don't have to worry. Like I think, if I lose my job, where will I get health insurance from? I, surveyed in the market. Health insurance for 2 people, me and my wife, is like $30,000, $40,000 annually. My God, where will that money come from? How will I do this? How will I do that? So just for basic things, suppose I meet an accident, I fall from the stairs, I slip in the bathroom. One surgery is $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 these days. Who will pay if there is no insurance? All these thoughts come. But pure devotee thinks Krishna will take care of my needs. That is called Goptritve Varanam Tatha. And ātma-nivedanam means giving. Really, it is again, so it is similar. I am drawing out the distinction that in case of danger, Krishna will protect. He will provide for my needs. Ātma-nivedanam means giving one's self into Krishna's hands. अपने हाथ, हमने आपके अपने आप को आपके हाथ में दे दिया. Like a slave. I don't know, none of us have experienced slavery, but if you read history books, basically the master owns the slave. That's why you have to pay money. A slave is like an object. That's why it has been abolished. It's like you treat person like a thing. You pay money, you buy the person. Now the person cannot say anything. I don't know what were the laws. Maybe you can even kill the person. I don't think that was allowed in American slavery, but I'm not expert on this part of the history, but you really own the person. Like that, we sell ourselves to Krishna. Like we will not say anything. Whatever happens, we will not say anything. We will not complain. That is ātma-nivedanam. Completely giving ourselves in Krishna's hands. With what mood? That is the 6th one. Helplessness. If anything happens, like if you are feeling hungry, or if you are having then you, like anything happens, you are like completely helpless. There is nothing which you can call yours. Even for a cup of water, you have to beg, because nothing is yours. That is the mood. It's not like Krishna is asking for you to become a slave. That's not the point. That is not the point. But the point is the devotee's mood is this. That is the meaning of Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Only then this level of, because everything you can forget or you have to forget. Give oneself completely in Krishna's hand. Completely. Helplessness, that state of helplessness. That feeling that, I may be deprived even of a cup of water, but that's okay. That's okay. I will still go with Krishna. I will still go with Krishna. So that is Sarva Dharman Parityajya. And that is what is being showed here in this verse. Shad Vidha Sharanagati. These are the 6 ways, or these are the 6 ways to understand complete Sharanagati, complete surrender to Śrī Kṛṣṇa. So I'll just read small portion, and especially that word helplessness will come here. Anything that does not lead here. This much I will read. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. So you see every angle of your life, every angle. This is very high ask, very high ask. That does not lead to the perfectional stage. Perfectional, not 99%, not 98%, 100%. That is perfection. Perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. It's a big ask. One should be confident. This is the part, confidence. And that is why Śrī Kṛṣṇa is trying to convince. Don't worry, ma shuchaha, ma shuchaha. That in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. There is no need to think, how will I live for the next minute or next hour? Whether I will get water if I'm thirsty, let alone food, shelter, medical treatments, love, emotional support, nothing. Krishna will see to that. See, that is the point. Krishna will see to that. And this is the line I was talking about. One should always think himself helpless. This is karpanye. That is how the 2.7 started. Karpanya dosho pahoto sabhavaha. I am helpless, Krishna. I am helpless. गिड़गिड़ाना हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, गिड़गिड़ा के बोलना. Please, please help me. Then Krishna helped. So one should feel that way. It's not that, don't think Krishna is wanting that. He is wanting a bunch of slaves. No. But unless we have that mood, we will not follow Krishna. We'll have all our dharmas to take shelter of, and that's fine. That's not 100% Shuddha Bhakti. It is 99%, 98%, 60%, 40%, whatever, but not 100. Helplessness. And should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. Not just spiritual, even material. Even material. As soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. That is sarva papebhyo moksheshyami. But this is the full Krishna consciousness, seriously engages in full. So I think I have explained enough what Śrī Kṛṣṇa is saying here and what is the highest level. So some people say Bhagavad Gita does not have highest level of bhakti and it is given in Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita and so on. That's not true. The proper understanding, of course, it's all embedded within the explanation, but this is what Krishna is actually meaning, and it's evident. Otherwise, why he has to give so much convincing? Okay, I'm looking at my notes to see what is left. Yeah. So this is 65 and 66, the two most important verses of Bhagavad Gita. So we spent almost 1 hour on this, which is good. Now we will go to 67. Again, a lot of points to be covered. I will see if we can cover it all today. That's still my goal, without sacrificing quality. If not, we'll have one more week. Or we may go a little late today and complete. If I feel only there is little bit left. Okay, any questions at this point? Please quickly raise your hand in 5 seconds. Otherwise, I'll move on. Okay, no hands. We are moving on. So now, after having said this, that the final instruction, now Krishna is going to tell Arjuna, and through telling Arjuna, he is telling us that who is eligible, adhikar. This is adhikar or eligibility to hear or receive this knowledge. Okay. So this part, as you can see here, Krishna himself has said, I'm telling you this because you are my friend. You are my dearmost friend. What else has he said? Ishto asi driham iti. You are my dridha friend. And this is very confidential. So this verse is saying, idam te na atapaskaya na abhaktaya kadācana na cha ashushrūshave vāchyam na cha māmyo bhyasūyati. So Śrī Kṛṣṇa is saying that this, I'm reading the English translation, this confidential knowledge may never be explained idam te na and then vāchyam. So in the first line, idam te na, and third line, vachyam. You should never say this to 4 categories of people. 4 categories are given in this verse. A tapaskaya. Tapa means one who is not austere, or one who is not, because initially it takes some austerity to leave your family, your wealth, your property is too much. If you cannot even leave a little bit of sense gratification, if you cannot even follow Ekadashi, one day you cannot live on non-grain. If every day you want gulab jamun, one day you can give up gulab jamun. So if you don't even have that, then what about speaking of leaving everything? So that has to be cultivated, that tapa. And of course, it has to keep increasing. It's not just gulab jamun. I'm not trivializing that. That one who can give up eating sweets is tapasvi. No. That is a very small level. Then na abhaktaya kadācana. Never. Kadācana means never. Very strong word. To abhakta, one who is a abhakta, don't tell. So idam, there everything is in the word idam. Idam means what? Okay, so I will come to that. Idam na vachyam. Don't tell this to a tapaskaya, number 1. A bhaktaya, one who is not a devotee. Na cha ashu shruyave, shrushave means one who is not engaged in devotional service. Sri Baladev Vidya Bhushan says one who does not want to hear. I am not interested in Bhagavad Gita. Please leave me alone. I am good. Chalo, next. Leave me alone. Mind your own business. That is a shushruve. Shushru. It says shrinu me paramam vachaha. Shushru. Shushru means to take in, like a take with acceptance. Yes, I want it. Not like it has been shoved in your hand. Then also it is take. Shushrusha means to take willingly and very, with lot of interest, with lot of eagerness to take. So a shushruve means one who is not interested. Don't tell. And then last, nacha mam yo abhyasuyati, one who is envious of me. Like not just disinterested, but actively against me. Don't tell. So there are 2 ways to explain, or 2 levels to explain this verse. One is because such people, if you tell them whole of Bhagavad Gita, idam. Now question comes, what is idam? Means, does it mean don't tell any part of Bhagavad Gita? So that is first level. That one who is against Krishna, oh, you are telling from Bhagavad Gita? Then I don't want to hear. Even if you tell them nice things from Bhagavad Gita, which is like, just control your mind. Everybody says controlling mind is good thing. Speaking nicely, anudvega karam vakyam. So speaking nicely to others. These are not getting angry. all satyam, speaking the truth. Everybody says these are nice things, but if you tell them this is from Bhagavad Gita, they will get, some people may get agitated. Now I will definitely not follow it. So one level is to consider the idaṁ to be the whole Bhagavad Gita. That should be applied to people who are ashushruve and abhyasuyati, who are against Krishna and don't want to hear anything. Okay, so if you find that kind of repulsion, better to not tell Bhagavad Gita to such people. Or if you are so interested in their benefit, tell them, don't say it is from Bhagavad Gita. Tell them the nice things. And these things will be more which don't have Krishna included. So which means you can tell them about all the other things, mind and this and that, even up to Brahman and Paramatma, but not about Krishna. Okay, depending on what is their level of repulsion, you have to judge. Okay, so that is one level of idaṁ. The second level of idaṁ is to tell all that, but don't tell about personal aspect of Krishna, this deep dependence on Krishna. Acha, Krishna is so big? Really? His devotees suffered. What happened to them? So in both cases also, they may become offensive to Krishna. Or in the second case, they may become even more offensive to Krishna. They may think, Arey, that what Krishna you keep talking, he's, that's not true. You are they will pick on your case. You are suffering. If you're talking to some close friend and you have some problems in your life, devotees have problems in their life, material problems. They will say, you are suffering. Why are you not perfectly a perfect human being? They don't realize that nobody in the whole world is not suffering. From King Charles to Queen Elizabeth to US President to all the powerful big people, everybody is suffering. But they will easily point out, say, you are suffering, you should have no suffering. All devotees in Bhagavatam had suffering. Name one devotee in Bhagavatam which did not have suffering. I challenge you. Prahlad Maharaj had suffering. Dhruv Maharaj had suffering. Ambarish Maharaj had suffering. Tell me any. That's the whole point. Narad Muni had suffering. Kunti Maharani had suffering. Pandavas had suffering. Gajendra had suffering. Bharat Maharaj had suffering. All gopis had suffering. All right. So don't tell to these kind of people because they will be offensive. And secondly, this personal aspect of Krishna, keep it very, very secret. Very secret, because the moment you get more and more and more personal about Krishna, this is very important point, then Śrī Kṛṣṇa he relates with people in very strange ways. Very strange. Unimaginably strange. And people cannot understand. They might get repulsed by Krishna. How can he, flirt with other people's wives? Biggest allegation on Krishna. You cannot understand. Cannot understand that. So first you have to be a fully committed devotee. That coming to the point where you cannot see a fault in Krishna. Whatever he may do, you will just not see a fault in Krishna. You have to become like Dhritarashtra was for Duryodhan. I'm giving you this analogy. Anything that Duryodhan does, can Dhritarashtra see fault in it? Shalu Mataji? No, right?
No, Prabhuji.
That's how one has to become about Krishna. And of course, Krishna is not, Duryodhan committed real fault. But at a material level, one may think, Arey, he's doing all these things which are like not so nice. So first one has to become a bhakta. That will come in the next verse. To them, you can tell me about my personal aspects, because they are guaranteed to not see fault. And not only that, because there are no faults, there is so much sweetness. But to see the sweetness, you have to be a devotee. It is actually sweet, but it will be perceived like a fault, and therefore don't tell. Okay? So that is the other understanding of idam te the abhaktaya kadācana. So kadācana, other commentators put only to abhaktaya, that if you're not a Shuddha Bhakt, don't tell these personal things. It may confuse or whatever, corrupt or poison their mind. Okay? So one should not tell. And that is why also Śrīla Prabhupāda used to say, don't jump to 10th canto. This is the reason. First study 9 cantos. Come to the point where then when you begin to see some things in 10th canto, you're like seeing the sweetness of it, of Krishna. Not like, Arey, this Krishna is little, no. Lord Ram is so much better. Thank you. Bye-bye, Krishna. So we don't want that. So for those who are trying to tell to others, one can speak about Bhagavad Gita, but bring them to the level of tapa. So atapaskaya, so make them tapaskaya. Make them little where they begin to get this concept of sacrifice, giving up things for a higher cause. Make them a devotee by the messages which are very straightforward devotional, kind of like what maybe you can say first 9 canto of Bhagavatam kind of message, or first whatever, those aspects. Make them have a desire to listen, not a shushrushave, but shushrushave. And have some devotion, not abhyasuyati, where they are repulsed by Krishna, but they have some attraction to Krishna. There is one great personality. He said, I accept the Krishna who spoke Bhagavad Gita, but I do not accept the Krishna who ran behind the girls. So then they have they're compartmentalizing Krishna. How is that possible? Either you fully accept Krishna or you fully reject Krishna. You cannot compartmentalize. Then 68 and 69, to whom Bhagavad Gita or this personal aspect, now I will go on down the line of this personal aspect, can be explained. It can be explained to the devotees. That is what is being said. Ya idaṁ paramam guhyam. So now idam, Krishna is giving a very clear indication. Now some commentators, and rightly so, say idam means whole Bhagavad Gita. But from 68th verse, we see idam means paramam guhyam. Ya idam paramam guhyam, which means the param guhya part, because that paramam guhyam was already there in 64. So it means that personal aspect. Before that, the Brahman Paramatma is okay to share. This one should be shared only with devotees. So we get an indication that it really means that it's not that don't share whole Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, our acharyas would be hesitant to write commentaries. Bhagavad Gita is the most heavily commented Shastra in all Vedic literature. 100%. By far. Every Acharya, if he has not commented on anything, at least Bhagavad Gita, they have all commented. Everyone. Śrīla Prabhupāda, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, everybody. And from other sampradayas, Sri Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, there are like 300-400 commentaries of previous acharyas present on Bhagavad Gita. So this part, idaṁ paramam guhyam, this part keep it hidden. Ya idaṁ paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva abhidhasyati. So to mad bhakta, to my bhakta, you can share. You can explain this. So in a way, this is being said, the glories of the personal Bhagavan. You can say in essence, or in other words, not essence, but in other words, this means doing Bhagavat Katha about Krishna to Mad Bhakteshva, to that, to the devotees. Bhaktim mayi param kritva mamevaishyati asamshayaha. And there are two results of doing it. You must do. So it's not that you can do or you may do or it is okay to do. That's not the point. To bhaktas of Krishna, the message of Krishna is you must do. It's non-optional. You have to do. And then he says that, you will see in the next verse, but in this verse saying you get two results, those who do this. So this is Kirtan. Verse number 68 is Kirtan, the emphasis of Kirtan, which is Yuga Dharma. Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga is Hari Kirtan. What is that verse? Krite tadhyayate Vishnum Treta nam yajato makhaihi dvapare paricharyayam kalau tad Hari Kirtanat. So in Kali Yuga, Hari Kirtan is the Yuga Dharma. Like for other yugas, it is Dhyana, Yaj, and Paricharya, means meditation, worship, meditation, worship, and Yajna and worship. So Kirtan must be done. Must. It's a must here. And you get two things. Bhaktim mayi param. Highest bhakti you will get. You will get my highest bhakti by Kirtan. To devotees, okay? To those who are willing to accept. And you will come to me asamshayaha, without doubt. You will come to me. And next verse is even more emphatic. 69th. Nacha tasman manushyesu. There has been nobody, no human being. Kaschin me priyakrit tamaha. Tama. See, guhya, guhya tara, guhya taba. So similarly, priyakrit tama or priyatama. इसलिए कहते हैं ना wife को और to beloved priyatama. Tama means most. Don't call your wife priyatara. Then she will ask, who is the, next level? That's why you don't call priyatara, priyatama. Tama means the most beloved. So, kaschin me priyakrit tamaha. That person is the most dear to me who does this kirtan. Bhavita na cha me tasmad anyaha priyataro. Now tara, priyatara means better, good, better, best, right? So there is nobody better. Priyatara. Bhavita na cha me tasmad. That there will never be somebody better than such a person. Anyaha priyataro bhuvi. That means this is such a big guarantee Krishna is giving that if you do my kirtan, you will come to me and there will never be, I will never say that there is anyone a bigger devotee than such a devotee who is doing my kirtan with bhaktas. So bhakta ke sath, what type of kirtan you have to do to bhakta with bhaktas? The confidential aspects. So here again, connecting this to what we just read from Brahmana Patnis, dirgha shruyate or dirgha shruta, hearing from long time, and from Ajamil's chapter we saw anukirtanam, continuous non-stop kirtan. So helpless, again you are saying helpless. Krishna is saying helpless, right? Karpanye, sarva dharman parityajya, leave everything. So which means don't even go looking for food. Automatically food will show up on your table. Automatically. No need to do anything. Are to what should I do? That question can come. Should I become like a twiddler, thumb twiddler? Yes, my teacher used to do thumb. I picked it up from there. Very nice demonstration of thumb twiddling. Very funny. So what should I do? No, the devotee shouldn't twiddle thumbs. Such a helpless devotee should not twiddle thumbs. Because everything you're dependent on Krishna. What does a slave do? Just sitting in a jail or whatever, just sleeping or whatever. No, that is not, devotee is not this kind of karpanya helpless. He always glorifies Krishna. Always. That is his only business. Always glorifying Krishna. Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Kirtan, continuous, keep doing, continuous Kirtan. Shri Raghavartma Chandrika goes one level ahead and say, unabashedly, shamelessly keep doing Kirtan of Bhagavan. Not like you, again, it's not like shoving down somebody's throat. Listen to my Kirtan, listen, sit and listen. No, just speaking even in the void. Even in the void, just keep doing Kirtan of Bhagavan. Always, whether somebody is there or somebody is not there. Just keep doing Kirtan, Kirtan, Kirtan. This is what this means. Helpless. So helpless does not mean twiddle thumbs. Very nice example. I'm eager to quote of this one devotee I met few years ago, and Mahāvir Bhagat ji on the Govardhana parikramā mārga. Always keeps singing. His famous bhajan is this, Rajtaj Vaikuntha na jaun. What is that? Giri. What is that? Rajtaj Vaikuntha na jaun. I forget the second line. So, and I spoke with him.
Giriraj Vas mein paun.
Giriraj Vas mein paun. May I receive the residence in Govardhan and Rajtaj Vaikuntha na jaun. I don't want to leave Vraja. Even if I am given entry into Vaikuntha, I don't want to leave Vraja. May I always be there in Govardhan. So like that, he keeps singing on the parikramā mārga of Govardhan. So I met him once, went there to take his blessing. I met him a couple of times. So he was just saying, not as a boasting or in a very I was just saying, so like he was just saying, prasadam just shows up in front of me. Sometime it doesn't show up. That's okay. And most of the time it just shows up. I don't have to do anything. In fact, there's one of the line in that bhajan. What is that? Jo kuch mile prasad paaya ke
Govind ke gun gaun.
So whatever prasad comes in front of me, I will just have it. But my 100% business is only one. What is it? Govind ke gun gaun. Just singing the Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, name, form, pastimes, glories of Krishna. So that is a devotee. So many examples are there. So many examples. Narasinh Mehtā, another example. So many examples. Always just doing Kirtan, Kirtan, Kirtan. That is the, in Kali Yuga, that is the only engagement of devotee should be. Pure devotee. Nothing else. Just kirtan. So that is the meaning of these two verses, 68 and 69. And Bhagavan says that there will never be anybody more dear to me than he. Now you can think of it like prachar. Obviously, this is also prachar. When people hear from the mouth of pure devotees, they get affected. They definitely get. The devotee is not doing the kirtan to increase his followership, but it increases, whether he wants it or not, as a byproduct. All right. So 68 and 69, that is the understanding. Always, always, always do kirtan of Bhagavan. Okay. Then what should one do also? Again, now 70 and 71, very important. This is something very close to my heart. The difference between study and hearing. Okay. Hearing means one level, just the word hearing. Okay. Hearing. It's like, I hear the news. If you ask me what was the morning news, I don't know. There's so much noise. Basically, at some level, it could become noise. Hearing, hearing, hearing. Study means you study. That is why, some people do Bhakti Shastri. I did Bhakti Shastri. Others are doing. It's just a forcing function to do study. Some people can do it on their own. Bhakti Shastri is not going to make you a pure devotee, or it is not going to, whatever. It's just a forcing function for study. Again, the main thing is study. So that is the difference between 70 and 71 is hearing, but 70 is study. I'll show a verse from Bhagavatam also, which says, Tat Shrinvan Supathan Vicharan Paro Bhaktya Vimuchyate Naraha. It is the 18th verse of last chapter. So I'll show that. So 70th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoh jnana yagyena tenaham ishtasyam iti me matihi. So adhyeshyate, adhyay. That adhyeshyate is derived from adhyay. Adhyayan karna. अध्यापक मतलब क्या होता है शालू माता जी? टीचर तो मतलब इन्हें टीचर स्टूडेंट अध्यापक और बेसिकली could be live अध्यापक, but basically the point is adhyayan, study. Deep study is being emphasized by Krishna here. Cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoh. Our sacred conversation, samvad, Krishna-Arjuna samvad that has occurred about dharma. Jnana yagyena tenaham ishtahasyam iti me matihi. He is doing what kind of yagya? Jnana yagya. Even though this is bhakti, so this is through jnana one is attaining bhakti. Okay, so one must do. So the focus is on adhyayan, study. He is doing jnana yagya, keeping me, and not just jnana as impersonal Brahman jnana. Nahi hai ye. This is not that. Jnana yagyena tena aham ishta. I am the center ishta. I am the ishtadev. I am the deity. I am the focus of the study. So you are studying about me. This is bhakti jnana, not brahma jnana. Okay, not Sankhya Gyan, Atma Gyan, this is Bhakti Gyan. All right? Because Krishna is saying, Tena aham ishtah. I am the center focus. Okay? 71. Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrinuyad apiyo naraha sopi muktaha shubhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. Now he tells about Shraddhavan anusuyascha shrinuyad api yo nara. Whichever person hears shrinuvan with two characteristics. What characteristics? Shraddha. And Anusuya means non-envious. So in a favorable way, with Shraddha that this will benefit me, he goes to higher planets. So api muktah shubhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam. So he attains, he becomes free. So, and one who listens with faith without envy becomes free from sinful reactions, muktah, from sinful reactions, and attains to auspicious planets, shubhan lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam, where the pious dwell. So, but the more important focus is just more than hearing is study. So here is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam I will share. Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th Canto, last chapter 13, one of the last verses. I think it's this. Yes. Tat shrinvan supatana vicharana paro bhaktya vimuchye naraha. I think this is Shardul Vikriditam. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsya Mekam Amalam Jnanam Param Giyate Tad Jnana Viraga Bhakti Sahitam Naishkarmyam Avishkritam Tat Shrinvan Supatana Vicharana Paro Bhaktya Vimuchye Nara. So that is Shardul Vikriditam. Tat Shrinvan. So one who does Shrinvan, hearing, Supathan, and study, nice study, Supathan, nice kind of study. See, Shrinvan is hearing. Śrīla Prabhupāda or his disciples translated Canto 12, but properly chanted, but Supathan also means properly studied. And Vicharan Paro, and also churning, analysis. Vicharan Para, who is serious about understanding. So one who is analysis and understanding it deeply, such a bhakta gets liberated. Vimuchye Nara. Okay. So all three, hear, then study, and then internalize, analyze and internalize, apply and realize. All that is within Vicharana Paro. All right. So that is being focused on in 70 and 71. That study. Adhyeshyate chaya imam dharmyam samvadam avayoh jnana yagyena tenaham ishtah syam iti me matihi. And then 71. All right. 72. Okay. Now the moment of truth for Arjuna. Śrī Kṛṣṇa is going to ask Arjuna the final question. And this is the last verse by Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Okay. So 72. Kachid etad shrutam partha tvaya ika agrena chetasa kaschid ajnana sammohaha pranashtas te dhananjaya. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, Dhananjaya, have you heard this with an attentive mind? So, ekagrena chetasa. Have you heard this whole conversation very carefully? Krishna is asking, have you heard this carefully? Kachid ajnana sammohaha pranashtas te is your ajnana, and sammoha. Sammoha means illusion. I don't want to fight. This is my loved ones. I will become sinful if I kill my grandfather Bhishma, my teacher Drona. How can I fight? All this illusion and ajnana, pranashtas, has it been destroyed? Are you willing to give that up and do sarva dharman parityajya, hold my hand and move forward? That is the question. Are you willing to do that? Give up all your concerns, hold my finger and follow me. That is Śrī Kṛṣṇa's question for all of us. And my answer is not yet. So let us see what Arjuna's answer is. Arjuna uvacha nashto mohaha smritir labdha tat prasadan maya achyuta sthitosmi gatah sandehaha karishye vachanam tava. So many things he is saying. This is the effect on me now. He's saying, what is my situation? So he's saying, has your moha been destroyed? Pranashtam. So he says, nashto moha, done. Yes, all my moha is done. Smritir labdha. I have regained my correct understanding. I don't know what happened when I saw all these people. So in the moment of truth, now we go back to chapter 1. And in the moment, he prepared for 13 years, but then he got cold feet. So now he's saying that is gone. Smritir labdha. How? Not by my own self. It's not like my preparation. I have this astra, that astra. That also he has given up. So basically, he has given up everything. Sarva dharman parityajya, he has done. That's why he adds, Tvat prasadan. By your mercy. This is what he's saying, that I'll hold your finger and I'm willing to walk. I have no other basis to say that those concerns are gone. If it is not for you, those concerns are still there. And they are valid concerns. Everybody would agree. Why is Arjuna not being allowed to do this, what he said in chapter 1? It's a good thing. Forgiveness is a good thing. Not killing your dearmost loved ones for just a piece of land. Even for justice. Okay, fine. Why don't you forget justice? Just be friends. When my boys used to fight when they were young, I was, okay, fine. I agree. He did first. He stole your whatever pen or whatever the thing. Maybe he's wrong. Can you just, I am the justice provider. I am the judge of the house. Dad is like the, but I would say, why don't you just, it's okay. Why don't you let go? It's a good thing. Even if the other guy has done injustice, just it's okay. Take it in its stride. So Arjuna was doing the right things. So it's not that those right thoughts have become wrong. No. They are still correct. But there is a higher purpose, which is to follow Krishna's footsteps or follow his advice. Leave everything, all your concerns, everything that you have built in your life, everything that you have built, leave it and simply hold Krishna's hand and walk behind him. That's very hard. And Arjuna is saying, yes. Sthito asmi gatah sandeha. My sandeha is gone. All my doubts are gone. Karishye vachanam tava. I will do as you say. He did not say, I will fight. He will, basically he's saying, I will hold your finger and follow you. Wherever you take me, I'm not going to question. Okay? Like a helpless follower. A very nice example is given by Sri Jiva Goswami in this. Ātma-nivedanam is one of the 64 limbs of Bhakti. We will study it in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I am planning to do a more detailed version of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu soon. So, we will study this concept of Ātma-nivedanam. Example is given like when a cow is sold to a owner. So the cow owner puts the cow in the shed. Now, whether it's like a slave concept that I told, whether he gives him, fodder to eat to the cow or not, whatever, it's all the desire of the owner. The cow simply follows the owner. Wherever the owner can take, he will put the rope and the cow will follow. Cow will not ask why you took left or right. So karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna is saying, I am your cow. Put your rope in my nose and lead me. I will follow. So he is doing Sharanagati. He is doing Sharanagati by saying this sentence, Karishye vachanam tava. Are you following? So this is very hard. We discussed it for 1.5 to 2 hours today. Very hard. Now comes the last 5 verses. So we must think if we can become like Arjuna or not. So that is the big question. So I think we discussed quite a bit about it. I think I'll just finish through the chapter quickly. So very nice verses, and Sanjaya is really listening carefully, and hopefully so is Dhritarashtra, but Sanjaya's heart is completely changed. So we'll read these words of Sanjaya, what he's feeling. Like he has received this highest knowledge, just like that, he just, he was just got this opportunity to look at the war and narrate it to Dhritarashtra, but he hit on like a jackpot, without even asking this whole Bhagavad Gita, and he's expressing his, hitting on the jackpot kind of moment for Sanjaya. Sanjaya uvacha ityaham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanaha samvadam imam ashrausham adbhutam romaharshanam. So I have heard this samvad. Samvad means a very, very cordial discussion, not like a vivad. Vivad is like, different, means like argument. Samvad is, there are technical meanings. Samvad is from top to bottom between teacher and student. Vivad is between 2 peers, and I had explained it one time. There is samvad, there is vad, then there is vivad, then there is jalpa, prajalpa, and vitanda. There are these 6 levels of discussions that can happen. Samvad is considered the topmost. So this is samvad, where a lot of learning happens and both people grow. I mean, Krishna, there's nothing to grow, but between teacher and student, when samvad happens, student grows and even teacher grows. Anyway, so that is samvadam. So, ityaham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanaha, both are Mahatmas, Vasudeva and Arjuna, Partha. Samvadam imam ashrosham, I have heard this samvad. Adbhutam, it's just out of the world. It's like crazy, not crazy like crazy, but like crazy wonderful. And romaharshanam, my hair are standing on end. I'm getting goosebumps. 75. And how he got this chance? By Vyas. Vyasdev gave him that power to see the battlefield, right? Vyasa prasada shrutvan etad guhyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat kathayatah swayam. So this guhyam, that I have heard this most, guhyam aham param. So aham is shrutvan, means I have heard this guhyam param, this like I have hit a jackpot. It's a jackpot. It's the most secret, confidential jackpot I have hit. Yogam yogeshwarat krishnat, from Krishna, who is yoga yogeshwar. He's like Bhagwan, sakshat Bhagwan, and he is himself kathayatah swayam. From his mouth the words are coming. It's not like second person, third person. Directly from his mouth I have heard. There is no like doubt that maybe this person is adding some mirch masala in the middle and he's over exaggerating the message or whatever, adding some own of his interpretation. Nothing, direct. And this is why Bhagavad Gita is so important, because these are direct words. Sakshat krishnat kathayatah swayam. Sakshat means personal, like direct. जैसे कहते हैं ना, साक्षात दर्शन हुए भगवान के, means Bhagwan appeared in front of you like Dhruva. That is called sakshat. So here he is hearing sakshat words. There is absolutely no doubt that these came from Krishna's mouth. It's not some, something else. Rajan samsmritya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjunayoh punyam hrishyami cha muhur muhur. He's just jumping with joy. He's like, even though he's sitting in front of the king, Dhritarashtra, hrishyami muhur muhur. I'm like, he's like dancing. He's almost dancing with joy. Rajan samsmritya, just remembering this whole conversation. Oh my God, what have I hit on? I have hit on a jackpot. Samvadam idaṁ adbhutam. He's repeating his words. Adbhut samvad. Keshav Arjunyo. Between Keshava and Arjuna, this beautiful punyam samvad. Hrishyami cha muhur muhur. I'm like jumping, dancing with joy. Tatcha samsmritya. Once again, on remembering, I cannot just stop thinking about it. Like, just completely mesmerized, completely absorbed in that conversation. Rupam atyadbhutam hare. And he could also see. He could not just hear, he was able to see, He got the divya chakshu. So he got this to see this adbhut roop of Hari. What adbhut roop? The universal form, Vishwaroop and Narayan roop, Chaturbhuj. So Rupam atyadbhutam hare, vismayo me mahan rajan. Hrishyami cha punah punah. So he's like again jumping with joy. Hrishyami cha punah punah on. My dear Rajan, I'm just going crazy at this point. I've like, what have I hit upon? This is like the jackpot I have hit upon. Thanks to Vyasadev. Final verse. Yatra yogeshwarah Krishno, yatra partho dhanurdharaha, tatra shrir vijayo bhuvir dhruva nitir matir mama. So yatra yogeshwaro. So he gives a proclamation that wherever there is Yogeshwara, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, and the Bhakta, even though he's calling him Dhanurdhara, but his number one quality is not Dhanurdhara, but a Bhakta. So, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra, there are three things. Shri means all opulence will be on that side. Vijaya, victory will be on that side. And Dhruva, and certainly Niti and justice will be on that side. Niti Matir Mama. So he says, these things will all be there with Arjuna. So, and it says that commentators write, this shatters the heart of Dhritarashtra, that his own person, Sanjaya, is concluding that Arjuna will win the battle or the war because of Śrī Kṛṣṇa. In fact, it is said when Dhritarashtra heard Bhagavad Gita, he also got convinced that, Krishna is Bhagwan and my sons are going to die. He, in fact, contemplated, tomorrow I'm going to go and ask them to stop fighting. But next day, again, Moha overtook. So because he did not hear with Bhakti, he was not willing to hear, he did not meet all those criteria which were discussed. And he was envious of Krishna. So it did not last. But Sanjaya is not like that. And Sanjaya was jumping with joy. All right. Hari Bol. We have completed Bhagavad Gita once again with 2 minutes to spare. Any questions? 5 seconds, raise your hands. Otherwise, I'll make some final announcements and we will be done. Everybody is Hrishyami, Muhur Muhur, and Roma Harshana?
Yes.
Very nice.
Very well.
So, okay, so no questions. That's fine. Totally great. So the question is, what's next? Okay, so that is the big question. So Bhagavad Gita, yes, it can be like a checkbox. But what next is to take bhakti seriously. Seriously sincerely, like intensely. Sincerity means intensity. Seriously means like, yes, I really, really, really want the result. What result? Prema of Krishna. To have that conviction, the first thing you can desire for. I don't have that conviction. The goal, the seriousness about the goal can be to have that kind of conviction where I can leave everything behind and just hold the hand of finger of Śrī Kṛṣṇa or the acharyas or the devotees of Krishna and just follow them. Follow them fearlessly. Fearlessly follow them, having that conviction. And how that conviction will come? By continuous kirtan. So doing continuous kirtan, rearranging your whole life around continuous kirtan. Anukirtanam. Continuous hearing and kirtan. I showed you references from Bhagavatam. So that is how that will develop. So that is what is next. Please do it. Bhagavad Gita is not just supposed to be heard, not even studied and pass Bhakti Shastri, but apply it in your life. This is the only shot you have. You will probably, human life will not come again for a long time. At the end of your life, don't regret that, what did I do with my life? Some of you are younger side, some are older side. Whatever time you have, just jump. I have not done that, so I'm a bad example. But at this moment, I will say, don't follow what I'm doing. Follow what I'm saying. It's very hypocritic, but still I'm saying. Okay. So please, including myself, I'm telling myself, leave everything and do 100% Shuddha Krishna Bhakti. There is no other goal of life. So that is what is next, nothing else. Wonderful week of Navratri is going on, very auspicious time to complete Sri Bhagavad Gita. Kartik month is going to start, very auspicious month. Study Bhagavatam, study Bhagavad Gita. Completely absorb yourself in Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Very auspicious time. Okay. Some people asked me, how can we give some dakshina donation? I don't need any donation. Please give it to your local temple. Please give it to whoever you want. Okay. So don't ask me for how you can give donation. And that's it. Anything else? So this is the last class. Bhakti Shastri students, I will communicate over WhatsApp message. What we'll do, we'll start Ishopanishad next. What? Hey Siri, stop. Oh, Alexa, stop. I have all these devices in my room. Anyway, good. They are also hearing Bhagavad Gita. That's fine. So anyway, so what was I saying? Bhakti Shastri, yeah, we will start Ishopanishad, but after a little break. Because Bhagavad Gita is there, and yeah. Okay. Any questions? Last and final call for questions. और कुछ announce करना है? नहीं ना?
The homework.
हाँ, होमवर्क मिलेगा अभी. दिवाली मनाई है अभी थोड़े दिन.
ठीक है.
बड़े सिंसियर स्टूडेंट्स हैं, सबको होमवर्क चाहिए. हमको तो मजा आता था जब होमवर्क नहीं मिलता था. नहीं, I will give. Sorry, little delay. Too much going on. Okay. Or what else? All questions? Raj Vidya Prabhu, you had raised your hand one point. I hope your question is answered or whatever.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, I missed the point that you were not sharing slides. I was going to say that slides, we cannot see your
No
screen.
slides.
And
No
then Prabhuji told me that you had mentioned it last time. So yeah, that's it. That's why I lowered my hand.
Theek, thank you. All right. We will
Prabhuji,
stop.
18.64 is very appealing and very touching. I
64,
have taken an oath to follow it.
64 or 65?
64.
Okay, there is nothing much to follow in 64. 64 is saying Sarva Guhyatayam Bhuyah Shrudu Me Paramam Vachah. Ishto asi me dridham iti tato vakshyami me te hitam. So maybe 65.
65.
Yes, very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. Excellent.
After 1 month, I will come to you
Perfect. You
to
know,
tell the progress.
wonderful. You know how to reach me. Wonderful.
Thank
Suryanarayan
you, Prabhuji.
has been listening to classes for a very long time, very sincere. Prabhuji, thank you so much for your sincerity.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
And yeah, we are doing Bhagavatam classes every Saturday. If you want, you can join. I mean, for whatever. There are so many other devotees who are doing all kinds of nice classes on internet. I'm not the best one, or not even whatever. So please keep yourself engaged. I don't need any followership. Okay. Thank you very much for being such nice and sincere students of Bhagavad Gita. And those who are doing Bhakti Shastri, we will continue to keep going. Those who have completed Bhakti Shastri with Bhagavad Gita, all the best. You still have some homeworks and tests to complete. But other than that, we'll see you sometime soon. Otherwise, we will all meet one day in Golok Dham Vrindavan.
Hari Bol.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Śrīla Prabhupāda ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Hare
Jai.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Wonderful.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you.
Thank you,
so
Junk
much.
pranams.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. ठीक.